Hey everybody, it's Big E. Welcome to Big E's Auto. So yeah, I'm trying to learn this camera, sorry. So we're going to do a quick video on how you can use a hand vacuum pump to bleed your brakes. Usually brake bleeding is considered a two-person job, which if you have someone that can help you, that's probably the preferred method of having two people do it. But if you're a loser like me and you don't have any friends to help you out, you can use a hand pump. This one I got at Harbor Freight. I think it was like 35, 40 bucks, something like that. I'll show you how it works, but we're going to go over the setup and actually doing it. So first thing you want to do, we're going to use the Camaro because I have to get that one done. So we're going to go over here to the master cylinder. Remember, it's all about air, gravity, blah, 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 blah. Pressures, all that scientific stuff that I don't know enough about, so I can't get deep in. But what you want to do to help equalize pressure, you want to remove at least one cap. That one's a pain. I can get to it, but you know what? I can get to it. Let's just remove that. Now we have pressure, atmospheric pressure pushing down on this. So that'll help with removing any air. It helps equalize. So when you apply a vacuum, which we're going to do momentarily, that'll help with any kind of, let me get my camera, sorry guys, I'm trying to, that'll get the pressure more, help with pushing everything out. And the sun is blinding everybody, so I'm getting here and get to the back of the trailer, and then I will show you what I mean with the hand vacuum pump kind of deal. So here's what we got. Make sure it'll say on the top to the pump. So this end is the end you're going to hook to here. So basically this will be something like that. Then we just push that on there and hopefully it stays. I'm going to need two hands to do this. Excuse me. Now, once we get this on, you're going to need a wrench, or in this case we need 8mm to open the bleeder screw, and a flashlight just so you can see under there. So let me get this set up for you. Camera's going to be shaky, I apologize. And I'm going to see where we're at here. We're not even close, you don't want to get this. I have these bendy whatever mounts and they're kind of, alright, so that should give you, you're not going to see nothing because you got to get up in there. The bleeder is going to be up in there, so you might not be able to see anything except me do the, whatchamacallit of it. So, let me get my 8mm. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to reach up there. And pull your plug out. And then you don't really need to turn the bleeder out all the way, just enough. So we'll get our 8mm up in there. Well, just not even barely a quarter turn. Okay? Now, you go ahead and we're going to, there's not really a lot of room under here to do this, so bear with me. Probably what I should do is pull this off and put this on the bleeder, and then so the hose, get my fat ass in here. Come on. I think this, I'm going to have to hold it on, which is just going to add to it, the complexity of it. I'm thinking I may need to switch these hoses around. Let's do that. Put that there. So now the small hose is going to go to the pump because it just won't have room. Come on. And it's not, you gotta be kidding me, it's not gonna stay. Don't you love technical difficulties when you're trying to do something? So, I'm gonna have to adjust here. We have our pump here. We're gonna get this on, and then you can hear it pulling. And you're going to watch your hose to see if it's pulling anything. And now I have nothing. I don't know why. For some reason it tightened up. So now that the bleeder's open, probably from me trying to put the hose on. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but it is going to be messy. I'll just tell you that ahead of time. Alright. So we got some fluid out of there, some air. So we're going to tighten that up. And then I'm not going to bore you with doing the other side. What I am going to explain to you is there is a sequence you want to do when you do this. So the rule of thumb for bleeding brakes is you want to start at the wheel that's furthest away first. So that means you want to start with your left rear because that's the furthest away, that's the most tubing. Then once you bleed that, you want to go to your right rear, and then left front, and then you want to do your right front because that's the closest to the master cylinder. So that pretty much you can use as a rule of thumb when bleeding brakes, is go in that order of left rear, left front, right front. And if you're going to use this method of bleeding your brakes, make sure it's tight on there, and you just keep pumping fluid out until you don't see any more air bubbles in the coming in the fluid that's coming into your vacuum line. And that's why they make it clear. That way you can watch, and when the bubbles disappear, then you can close your bleeder valve and remove the hose, and that should be done. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you have a brake bleeding, or you have a spongy pedal is your telltale sign that there's air in the system, so you might want to bleed your brakes. Also make sure when you're bleeding your brakes that you don't run out of fluid in the master cylinder. Usually what I do, after each wheel is bled, I'll check the level in the master cylinder and go from there. to make sure it's at the right level. Always, I always buy the big container brake fluid so that way I can keep it topped off. And then, like I said, check it after each wheel of bleeding and make sure you fill it, and then you move on. And you should, because if you let that fluid level run low in your master cylinder and it gets below the actual cylinder, now you're going to have to take the master cylinder off and bench bleed it, and that's a pain in the ass to do. So save yourself a little bit of a headache. Make sure you have enough fluid in there between each of bleeding each wheel, cylinder or caliper, and then you should be all right with that. So anyway, hope that helps. Apologize I couldn't get really in there really good to get you a good picture, but you get the idea of how it works, and that way you can bleed your own brakes and solve any spongy pedal or brake issues you might have related to air being trapped in the system. So anyway, like and subscribe, hit the notification. We're going to be doing some other stuff too with this car, so we'll see what's all going on with that, but that's probably going to be it for today. So like I say always, watch out for each other, take care of each other. See you next time right here on Big E's. So bye for now.